full on up there.
What do you say to that?
Lies.
What?
It's all lies.
It's all, every bit
lies.
of it's lies. It's just craziness. It comes from, but I mean that in the best possible way.
Bless
we're
your
live,
heart.
guys.
Bless your heart, really.
Pleasantly malicious.
We are live. We are live. We'll give it a minute or so, and then we'll bring everybody. I want to introduce you guys tonight. And here's the thing I've got to watch out about when I introduce you guys, because
hyperbole.
You two are like two of my very favorite people. You both know that. And so I'm going to try to do the intro without getting all fanboyish and without going all, emotional. But all right, here we go, boys and girls. Y'all ready? Hey, everybody, we're glad you're here tonight. We are so excited. I see Jason. Cool. Yay. Jason's got more energy than an Energizer bunny on steroids. I'm just saying.
Have you met Jason? You guys met Jason yet? We call him JJ Dynamite on the Go Giver call.
I think I met him I think he was actually in the background on our last call.
He may have been, yeah.
And it was typing in, remember?
Yeah, he's awesome.
That's right.
He had great things to say.
All right, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and get started here. I know that the people will still be joining.
Do not do what you. Okay.
What Lisa's saying is, she's reminding me not to cry during the introduction. So anyway, that's all right. I'm a big baby. I've been called a crybaby since I was like 4. But all right, everybody, I have a very special guest tonight. Are Anna and John David Mann. We've been talking to you about the fact they were coming for a couple of months now. Anna is one of my heroes. She has a master's degree in clinical psychology and dance movement therapy, which, by the way, probably explains why she would ever find me interesting in the first place and that we're friends. The psycho part, not the dance part. But she's a marriage and family specialist. She's an author, a consultant, a speaker, a trainer. She's a coach. She has a coaching practice that you should all take advantage of. She'll be talking about that a little bit later in the show. She is the creator and lead facilitator of the Go Giver Marriage Coaches Training Program. Of course, that's based on the book, The Go Giver Marriage, which is co-authored with John David Mann. John is also one of my heroes. John is also one of my heroes. He is, without a doubt, my favorite author, and I consider him a mentor and a friend. John is an award-winning and best-selling author of over 30 books, which have sold over 3 million copies, guys. By the way, that's a lot of books. He's the co-author of the Go Giver series with Bob Berg, and you, of course, hear us talk about Bob all the time. And obviously, the Go Giver Marriage with Anna that we just mentioned. He is the co-author of The Latte Factor with David Bach, The Red Circle with Brandon Webb, and many others. In 2021, he released his first novel, also co-authored with Brandon Webb, and it's a work of crime fiction called Still Fear, which was followed a year later by Cold Fear and the soon-to-be released, which I cannot wait to read, Blind Fear, in which the main character, a guy named Finn, who is a Navy SEAL, he is kind of a cross. I've read this online today. He's kind of a cross between Jason Bourne and Jack Reacher, and I'll throw in Mitch Rapp because he's one of my favorites. So if you like that genre, you do not want to miss that book. John is also a concert cellist, an award-winning composer, which with my musical background, I am envious of that. And it's had his music played around the world. I've not had mine played anywhere. So
that's a start.
He is now releasing his new Writing Mastery Mentorship Program, by the way, for which I immediately signed up. And I consider myself a decent writer, and I've already learned so much from the man, but I immediately signed up as soon as that link came available.
It's true. He was the first student, number 1.
Wow. I want to get me a shirt for that then. One of the things that has always impressed me about this couple is their relationship. As a matter of fact, as I was online today getting the intro together for tonight, I saw something very special on John's website, and I wanted to tell you guys about it. This was a post he did back on their 1-year anniversary, so that was some 14 years ago. And he posted their wedding vows, and they're still there today. Now, I don't think I've ever seen another man post their vows online like that. And I know that, especially in the business context, so that's this couple. And I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but there were a couple of things in there that I wanted you guys to hear because I want you all to fall in love with this couple just as much as I have and as I know that Lisa has. So I'm going to read just a snippet of their wedding vows. because one of the best books I've ever read in my life is The Go-Giver Marriage. And once you hear some of this, you'll understand where that comes from. This was some of John's vows to Anna. You are the answer to a question I've lived since I was born, but I never knew how to put into words. The world is sometimes a large and daunting place. At turns, lonely and intimidating, brutal and perplexing. And it is all too easy for us frail humans to feel lost and windblown. But when I look into your face and you look into mine, I'm home. I'm safe. I'm found. And from Anna to John, you have an amazing wit and humor. You're a brilliant artist and writer. I am in awe of your creativity. You're my best friend, my companion, my love, and the person with whom I can truly let my heart speak. You're the most authentic person I know, and I love that about you. You tell me your truth. You share your inner thoughts. You ask for my advice, and I can always seek your counsel and know that you will hold my deepest fears and my most vulnerable feelings. I've waited my whole life for you. I thank God for bringing you to me. Thank you for loving me. You are my greatest treasure. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you can't clap it online for me to hear this, but the two of the dearest people I know, Anna Gabriel Mann and her lovely husband, John David Mann. They're all applauding now. You just can't.
Oh my gosh!
In their homes, it's all doing this.
I'm all verklempt.
And so much for the laughing. I'm like bawling instead.
Yeah.
I had to practice that introduction so many times, and that's the only time I've gotten through it without crying.
Nicely done, good sir.
I was crying for you, so you're all set.
I said it to Lisa earlier. I said, you better read this or you'll be crying during the show. So welcome, guys. Welcome. Tell us what's going on. Our audience doesn't know you as well as we do, so let's get on to know you.
Holy cow. That was quite an introduction. Sweetheart, you want to start? Or you want me to start?
No, go ahead.
Yeah,
well,
with the Facebook people, that voice, because Mr. Sexy Voice reading that was something.
Yeah, I know. It's really true.
Yeah.
Thank you, John.
Well, I'll tell you something else that a lot of you probably already know about me, but many of you maybe don't. And that is why after having written all these books, almost 3 dozen books published over 2 decades, my wife all this time had told me, you'd be a great novelist. You would great novels. And you got to understand, writing a novel compared to writing like The Go-Giver or one of the nonfiction books, how-to books, Mastering Fear or Flash Foresight or Funny Side Up or any of those books that I've done.
Right.
Those compared to writing a novel or thriller is kind of like taking a nice walk over a little hill and climbing Mount Everest. At least that's how it seemed to me. The idea of writing a novel seemed like an impossibility to me, daunting, impossible. And all these years, Anna has been quietly saying, you'd be great at this. In fact, this is what you were born to do. And I didn't believe it, but that was okay because she did. And it finally sunk in. There's nothing like having somebody believe in you persistently, consistently, quietly by your side, year after year after year after year.
Mm-hmm.
Not a nag, not a Chinese water torture, just there, just presence, right? And so finally I listened, I believed her. And I wrote that novel that Jeff mentioned. And it was nominated for a Barry Award, and Publishers Weekly called it one of the best novels of the year. And it got all this acclaim. Incredibly gratifying. And I can promise you, absolutely promise you 2 things. 1, that's what I was put here to do. And number 2, I would not have done it. Not a chance, not a prayer, if it weren't for her.
I love that. That is absolutely, it's funny. Sometimes Lisa and I will be talking about different things that we're trying to teach in the show content, and how often when we first step out on something new, even if it's just from going from parables or how-to books to the novel, we don't always have our own belief, but we can do the work. But then when you often find yourself needing to survive on the belief of someone you trust dearly, and that's what you guys did there.
Yeah.
You know that Anna has your back. She loves you unconditionally, and you were surviving off of her belief until she got you to do it.
Yep.
And it took 10 years. I mean, I was probably telling him, actually it took more like 20. Because
Yeah,
I was telling him that back in the late 90s and into the early 2000s. And by 2008, 2009, I was really saying it because I knew it. I just knew it. And I feel like his novels are like brilliant jewels, each one. When you unwrap them, there's so much content and there's, setups and payoffs, and they all come together very tightly. And, it was really rewarding when he wrote this last novel, his third, for his editor to say the plotting, the structure, everything about this book is better than the first two. And the first two were amazing. Yeah. So to see each one evolve, just like a jewel, they're just incredible.
I'm getting seriously embarrassed here. We better move on.
Hey, that time it wasn't me being a fanboy; it was your bride. So,
but about my wife. So, talking about beauty and brains, she brings the beauty and the brains to this outfit. The brawn, actually, Anna in her youth was also a certified sharpshooter on the rifle. So she's actually the brawn as well. So beauty, brains, and brawn. It leaves me to basically, do the dishes and so forth. That's why I'm here.
I hear you make excellent tea.
I do. Very good tea. It's one of my better features.
Yeah, Peg's on, by the way. Peg's on. And if you're on Facebook, we see that are Facebook user. Make sure when you leave a comment, you say who you are so we know.
Same thing if you're on LinkedIn or YouTube or wherever you're watching. It helps us know to respond back to you is what it amounts to. So Anna, since he has spent so much time bragging on you, tell everybody a little bit more about you, because a lot of people will get to know John because of the books and all that, but you have done some amazing things in your background, and it blows me away. Talk about what you've got going on.
Oh gosh, if I go way back, it goes to being everything from a college dropout to a professional dancer. And then finally deciding to get serious about college and going back to school in my mid-20s, and then, marching straight through and to graduate level. And then I went on to teach at the university that I graduated from with my master's. And from there, I went into clinical psychology. And, I love working with people around relationships and, what is it that makes each one of us tick? Especially the things, I was a student of John Gottman. And so I love, sort of helping people to understand that there really are things that will destroy your marriage and your relationships. And that so much of what makes a relationship work or not work is the attitude that you're holding about the relationship and about the other person. And when I say attitude, most of us, our attitudes are the projections we're putting out onto other people. And I see it all the time in my clinical practice. People will say, well, my husband's just not romantic enough. He needs to initiate this or that or the other thing more. And yet when he does make any kind of initiation, she might be the first person to criticize him for it. Well, that wasn't really what I wanted. And it's like, do you want to accept that something really gracious just happened on your behalf, or do you want to criticize it and pick it apart? It's all about attitude and choice. And so the Go-Giver Marriage, when I first read The Go-Giver, I remember putting the book down and saying to John, this is an incredible, incredible parable, and it would make a great book about marriage. And that was literally when The Go-Giver Marriage was born. It was way back in 2005. And so, it was
before it was published, long before it was published.
Years before it was published. So we held it as a seed, and we even would go on long walks. Every night we'd go for a long walk. We'd go for a long walk and talk over what were the secrets, what were the things. Each Go-Giver book has 5 laws. So it's like, well, there are going to be 5 laws to a happy marriage. We were like, no, there's going to be 5 secrets to lasting love. And so that's really where it started. And once the story was really kind of hatched, I couldn't wait for John to write it. And in the middle of the pandemic was when I literally said to him, I think it was on Super Bowl Sunday, I said, people all over the United States are getting beat up right now because behind closed doors, explosions are happening in marriages all over the country. And if there was ever, and also with the pandemic and everybody shut in, I said, if there was ever a time that we need to really think about making this book happen, it's now. And so that was the year that it got written.
I'm going to jump in and just say this, that the parable was happening, right? Because every Go-Giver book is a parable in Pindar's town. So we had the parable. And then my concept was, okay, after the parable, we'll have like a little sort of summary, 4 pages, maybe 6 pages, that'll kind of summarize these 5 secrets to lasting love. And I asked Anna if she would start drafting some of that summary stuff, and she started handing pages to me, emailing from the other room, shooting me pages, and it was like, wait, what is all this? It grew and it grew, and she brought the whole thing to life. The second half of the book, that little appendix grew into a whole, like, another 50% of the book. She takes the principles of the parable and brings them to life in real, like, sort of you and me terms, in practical everyday life. It's just magnificent. So the book wouldn't be what it was if it had been up to me.
Well, I consider myself reasonably well read, and that's the first parable that I have ever read that did that to the extent that you guys did. Half the book was the parable, half the book was, okay, this is how you take this and you make it work in your life, big boy, big girl, put on your big britches, let's go.
Yep.
And this is how you do it. And it was brilliant, in my opinion. And I love how you guys divided your work up like that.
Yeah. I think this is
snap on those depends and make your relationship work.
Yeah.
I love how we're talking about britches.
Yes, I know. You don't want to burn any britches.
Did you know you got married in a church that I'm familiar with down in Greenfield? I had no idea.
Oh, yes, we did.
Wow.
Until I saw that today, because I'm from
St.
Orange.
James.
I'm from Orange, Mass, right down the street from there.
Right.
Greenfield is the big town that we all used to go to.
The big city, baby.
Big city, Greenfield.
Well, that is a very beautiful church. And it happens to be the church that I was born into. I was baptized in that church.
Oh, wow.
I was confirmed in that church. And every single Sunday of my entire childhood, all the way until every one of all of my primary family have passed away. So every one of their funerals were at that church. So It was really special for us to have our wedding there. And the pastor who actually delivered the service, it was the last wedding that he ever performed, and he was in his 80s. And
it isn't that he died afterwards. He just retired.
He retired.
I got this one right. I'm leaving it alone now.
He was the most charming, most funny guy that we had ever hung out with. He was so cute.
That's such a small area too. I think that's funny up there in Greenfield. Remember they had a big boy up on the Mohawk Trail with the holding the hamburger, and Wilson's department store right on Main Street. I think it's still there, isn't it?
No, it's gone now.
Oh, is it gone?
It is.
I remember that, don't you, Jeff?
It
You and I
closed
remember
just
that,
a
right,
couple
Jeff?
years ago.
Yeah, we used to go there all the time. Jeff and I used to go there all the time.
It's a great location, though. Part of the reason that we spend 6 months of every year in New England is because we have a house about 20 miles south of there. And, that Western Mass area is absolutely beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's a really special place. So.
Well, growing up in North Georgia, the South, my neck color is red because I'm proud of it. I'm just going to get that out there. But we had the big boy thing, but it was not a Bob's Big Boy. It was the same, kid with holding up the hamburger. They called it Shoney's.
Oh, no, I have Shoney's. They don't have Shoney's here. Strawberry pie. I had strawberry pie at
You've
Shoney's.
had strawberry pie.
When I lived in Mississippi and South Carolina, when in my 20s and my youth, when I was touring the country. Shoney's strawberry pie. Yeah.
So, Anna, tell me a little bit more about your coaching practice, because I know you help so many people with your coaching practice and the things you've got going on.
Oh, thank you. I have an active coaching practice. I love my work. The beauty of the pandemic was that people let go of their offices. So I literally sit on this couch and see clients all day long. And
Zoom.
I will also work with groups. I'm starting a men's group right now that will probably launch sometime this summer. And it's called the C-Suite Marriage. And it's basically designed for executives, people in all sorts of work, but people who have busy professional lives and feel like they have left their marriage on the side. And so an opportunity for people to sort of learn the concepts of the Go-Giver marriage and also really learn sort of a little more skill on, being intentional in their marriage. And that's really a big part of the Go-Giver marriage message is, if you need to, appreciate your partner 3 times a day, then you can literally set a timer on your phone and you can send them a text. But it's taking the time to do it.
Being intentional.
So, yeah.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that about the Zoom calls and all that. I literally started to send Zoom a letter today. I thought very seriously about it, and I wanted to personally thank Zoom for making boxer shorts now considered business casual. Nobody ever knows.
Exactly. And there's the black tie boxer shorts.
I will make you laugh. I have been seeing clients all day today in my nice silk blouse. And of course, I have lovely slacks on underneath.
I've got on a $150 shirt with a $4 pair of sweatpants on.
Exactly.
All I can say is I'm not standing up. Sorry. Hey, I want to say something about Anna's practice, which I think is cool. Which is even though she's a family therapist, marriage therapist, that's her training, that's her past practice. Her approach is to me, it's kind of unique in that she doesn't have couples sit down together and her. Because that too easily devolves into a he said, she said kind of thing.
Right.
Rather, she sees people individually. So if she's going to work in a marriage, she sees this person and she sees that person. And it's like one of the principles in the book is if you want to work on your marriage, you don't work on your marriage, you work on yourself. Because you can't change the other person, even if you still secretly think you can, even if you secretly hope you can. If only she would, if only he would, it doesn't work that way. It never happened. So that's like the core of what she does. And it's so cool to see because it's like, I get to watch people blossom. I'm not there, but these people just like blossom in partnership with her. It's a beautiful thing. So that's what I wanted to say.
What Zoom is, I don't know if you two know this, what Zoom has done for us. We've not met each other personally, but once.
Oh,
we had
far
together one time in San Antonio.
Yeah. Wow. We did the whole book and all the promotion and all this stuff. And
that's amazing.
And all of
Anna and I also have never actually met.
Please tell me that the secret to a happy marriage is that you live in separate places. Don't tell me that.
That was you. That's right. I remember.
We used to joke about that we wanted to have in the appendix of the book that the really ideal marriages were with the 2 houses right next to each other.
Yeah.
You have dinner twice a week, and beyond that, you go your own way.
There was when I was courting, as we say, before we were married. I had an apartment in Virginia where we had a Shoney's, by the way. I had an apartment in Virginia because I had 2 kids who were there, who would stay with me the 2 weeks I was there. And I would go up to Western Mass to see Anna for 2 weeks. And I drove back and forth in this car every month for 10 years. And I put a quarter of a million miles on the car. And absence made my heart grow fonder every month. And then the car finally died and it was time to get married. So here we are.
I was like, the car is dying. Might as well do it, right?
Hey, just say I do.
So, Anna, if people want to reach out to you for whatever, do you have a website that's just yours about the coaching where do you send them?
Actually, they can reach out through gogivermarriage.com.
Okay.
I am in development of a personal website, but believe it or not, my practice and my group coaching has been so busy that I just haven't got it built. And John was developing his writing program that he's launching, and there were just too many things on the plate, and so it just hasn't happened.
It's just gogivermarriage.com.
Right. And that's also, if you want to get the Go Giver Marriage book, that's where to go also, or you can go to Amazon, but go to their website, explore that. I have told so many people, and this is my best evaluation of the situation is The Go-Giver Marriage is the best book on relationships since The 5 Love Languages by, what's it, Gary Chapman, I think. It's it's that profound, and plus it's a parable. Of course, you guys know I love parables, because what I want to do is touch someone emotionally so much that even if they didn't get anything learning, if they didn't learn one thing from the book, they'd still want to read it and they'd still love the story. And that's what you do, John. I mean, that's just amazing.
That is what you and Lisa did with the lady, the lady with the blue hair.
Oh, I cried.
And the lady with the blue hair.
Yeah.
That award was no mistake.
Yeah. I mean, that is a brilliant, brilliant book.
Yeah.
Compliments like that from you two mean the world to both of us.
I read it and I put it down and I was like, John, you got to read this. This book is really good.
It is axiomatic.
Maybe that's why they gave us that medal. I've heard of another book that got the Axiom gold medal, and I've never gotten the gold medal. So that's our next step up.
It's definitely better than getting the axe.
That's true.
Yeah, for sure.
So, John, you want to talk about the writing class that you've rolled out? Do you want to tell the audience about that? Because we could have a lot of you in this group have reached out to me on various different platforms about how you wanted to possibly do a book. With a couple of you, even I've talked about us doing a book together.
Yes.
But the master is sitting right here. And so if you really want to become a better writer, I'm going to encourage you to listen to what John's about to talk about.
I'll make this very succinct. So, for years, I coached a lot of people just informally, privately, here and there, a bit at a time. But I never committed myself to doing it as a business or doing it as a practice or doing it formally, because I frankly didn't have time. It takes me so much bandwidth, some emotional, psychic bandwidth and chronological time to write a book. And I write a lot of them. So it's like I couldn't squeeze that into my life. A couple of years ago, I wanted to write a little free 10-page, 12-page pamphlet to give away on my website, and it was going to be on how to write. And I started writing it, and it turned out to be a 30,000-word book on how to write. And it's still free on my website. You can go to my website, johndavidmann.com, and pick up the free ebook. It's called How to Write Good, or at least gooder.
It's brilliant. It is brilliant.
And it will help you write gooder. I loved writing that book. I just loved it so much. I loved the process of it so much that I knew right then I had to find a way to work with people. And so what I've developed, I'm just launching it now. What I've developed is it's a program called the Writing Mastery Mentorship. And I'm working with a group of people. People are in the process of enrolling. As we said earlier, one Jeff West was the very first person through the threshold.
So, the ink hadn't even dried on your website, and I was signed up.
Right. That's right. Wait, there's ink on the website? Anyway, so
we're writers. We can make stuff up.
That's right. That's right. It's a 1-year program. It's a program for people who want to write a book, and it kind of goes from A to Z, soup to nuts. All the process that you go through to write a book. There's nothing in the program that I haven't done myself. I can't say it's the best program. I can't say it's the most complete program. I can't say it's the most authoritative program. But what I can say is everything that's in it, I've done it. It's it's my experience. What is it, my love?
But I would add this. One of the major components of it is that every single week, participants in this group get a live coaching call with you. And it's on a Zoom format. So the minute they put their hand up, in the Zoom format, they can be the very first person to just get one-on-one with you and talk about their book and talk about their process. And I think that kind of coaching from a New York Times best-selling author is priceless. I mean, it's just so powerful.
And I got to add to that, one of the reasons I set it up this way with the coaching call format is courses that I've taken in the distant past that were the most formative for me and most valuable for me. I was in a context where I was getting coaching from the teacher of the class and my colleagues. And so that is a group coaching format where whoever shows up that week, could be 3, 4, 5, 6 people, whatever it is, whoever shows up is there. You will get coaching directly from me, but also get to observe while there's coaching with somebody else. And I often learned more from the coaching other people got, my classmates got, than the coaching I was getting directly, or as much or even more. So I love the diversity of the program, the diversity of the group. Jeff is in the program, some others in the program. We got people who are writing parables, novels, how-to books, memoirs. One guy's doing science fiction. It's like it's all over the map, which is fabulous because it means it brings that richness of experience and aspiration to the group as a whole. We all it's a rising tide that, to coin an expression, floats all our boats.
Rising tide lifts all boats. Oh, I love it.
Mwah.
Well, you know, I know how much I have learned just from the visits that you and I've had. You've been so kind and generous with your time to look. We didn't even have lunch in Waco that day that you were in town and all that. And
We'll do it again.
Absolutely. Wherever I have to drive,
I'll be there this time.
Good. I missed you last time. But also, I immediately, as soon as I knew about your resource, How to Write Good, or at least Gooder, I jumped all over that. And I will tell you without a doubt, John, Blue Hair is a better book because of what I learned from you on that. And I don't know how more strongly to endorse the quality of the things that you do than that. And so I'm so excited about the next year of being able to get more of that type of coaching from you. And it's very exciting to me. Really
Jason wrote on here, what would you say is the level of this program? Is it for published writers wanting to become a bestseller or for complete newbies? He said noobs getting their first book out.
Yes.
The question. Oh, so it's for both.
It's for both, and there are already both people in it. I mean, I already have
good.
people who are accomplished authors, Jeff West, and also people who are, and Jeff's not the only author.
I was going to say April. There's another.
Yeah, April Sprints, and
April's got a great book out there. Oh,
yeah,
exactly. I've also got people who have never written a book before. In fact, I've got people in there who say, I've got some ideas, but I'm not even sure exactly what my book is, what I'm going to write about exactly. So the answer to the question, awesome question, Jason. It is not only broad diversity in topic, it's also broad diversity in experience. And that's going to be, I think, great for everybody, honestly.
Jason, in your case, I highly encourage you to do this because I know you and I have talked about a possible book and all that. I'm going to tell you the things that you'll learn from John in this course will be hugely helpful. You may not even ever need me on this. It will be so helpful to you to be able to crystallize that. I can't encourage it enough.
Oh,
I sat down months ago.
I will make another shameless plug, and that is that John is a structure genius. And I mean a structure genius. He really understands musical composition and has made award-winning compositions come to life.
Right.
But when you write a book, the structure of how you lay it out, whether it's by making an outline first or how you really think about the theme of your book and what it is that you really want to get across, chapter by chapter by chapter, you can elevate that if the structure is really well done. And that's one of the places that I think this course will shine, is that a lot of people don't get any experience with that. They just start writing, but they really don't understand how are they forming it. How are they putting it into something that's very cohesive and readable and really something that really excites the reader.
Yeah, where's it going?
Yeah, the writer class, what is the sign up link? Where do they go to do that? The same.
Oh, if people are interested in being part of this program, they should email me, and I will send you a link for more information.
So you want to say the email address?
Oh yeah, my email address,
sure.
John David Mann, that's my name, at me.com. I couldn't get it right myself. John David Mann at me.com. Yeah, 2 N's on man.
2 N's on man. He's a 2N man. I'm just saying.
That's right.
He's a 2N man.
You have one of these names, you got to say the whole thing too, but I do that with Jeff West too.
John David Mann.
Or Mr. West. I like to say Mr. West.
Well, Lisa, you think about the process.
I like to call him Wild Wild West personally.
Oh,
I don't care what you call me, just so you teach me and you coach me.
That.
I could call him Go West Young Man. I know there's so many possibilities. Or look out, here comes.
Well, Lisa, you think about our process as we took the time to produce the book. That process that I was going through with the outline and the things where we mapped out the storyline, and I told you, okay, I want to put in some sort of a twist here that I haven't even decided what that is yet, but it's going to be about right in here. that's what I learned from John, and he's that good. It's just amazing. So I'm going fanboy here. Lisa, ask a question, so I'll quit going fanboy. Ask a question.
Let's get sober here.
No, when he and I were doing the book project, I don't think I've talked to you guys since that all happened, but we didn't.
Right.
Yeah, we spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours on Zoom, and prior to that, we didn't really know each other except seeing each other on the Wednesday call for the Go Giver Success Alliance.
Right.
But he would like interview me. We'd share stories. It was more like that than it was interview. We just share stories and talk for hours, and then he'd write a chapter and send it to me, and I was just so, I don't know, happy with my life. I'd be like, oh, he got some of me in it. I was just so, I was shook up by that. I was like, oh, and I would be wonderful. I was just, he listened to me so well and included me in it. I felt like my life got put in a book, except in a good way, in a spiffy way, like that way. Because Belle's awesomer than me, but still.
I'll tell you, one of the key skill sets to good writing
is good
empathy.
listening.
Empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was
that's the key to writing good characters.
Which Jeff has in spades.
There you go.
You two are very kind. Okay, what's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you on a podcast? And this isn't a podcast, but I got to ask that question. What's the most embarrassing?
That's a good one.
Our audience is weird. They want to know stuff like this.
I have so many answers. Oh my
God.
No. Shall I jump in and give you one?
Yeah, maybe think of one for me too, because I can't remember
I'll try.
an embarrassing thing happening.
It could be happening right now. Just think, sweetheart. You could be having that moment right now. Let's really go into it. Quick. What is it? So I'll tell you one, which was last summer. I had it was a live. I don't remember the format of it was. It was StreamYard or it was something. It was some live thing, and it was a huge group. And they were gonna have me come on and talk about Cold Fear, the thriller, and the Go Giver. And it was like all. And I got on. I think it was. Oh, I know what it was. It was whatever the Twitter version is of Facebook Live. And I forgot they have some brand name. I don't even know if it exists anymore since Twitter. But it was the Twitter version of Facebook Live. I'd never used it before. And so the time came and I got on Twitter and I'm looking for it and I'm looking for it and I'm looking for it. And I couldn't figure out how to get on the podium. And I'm sitting here watching people say, is he there? Is he there? John, can you hear us? Is he there? And it's like 10 minutes goes by, 15, and I'm sitting here sweating and I'm typing and I'm like, how do I restart my, try it. And did he come? Is there anything wrong? Should we call him? Does anybody have his phone number? Finally, like 25 minutes into the thing, somebody finally took pity on me and texted me the thing that I was missing, the little piece of technology I was missing to actually get on. So I got on strolled out on the stage 25 minutes late and said, oh, hi, I'm John David Mann. Thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you for coming. Hello, everybody. Where'd you go? And then, of course, they recorded it. So it was up on for replay for weeks and weeks and weeks. People could listen to me stumbling around for 20 minutes.
I think Jeff should sing a little bit for us because he usually does.
I can't think of a song that would be appropriate.
Oh, come on. You usually do. You should have seen the Christmas one. He had a whole outfit. He had the hat and the glasses.
I wrote songs, and for our shows in December, I would sing a little thing at the very end, and I would act like the Frost. John, have you heard "Frosty the Blues Man" by Denver and the Mile High Orchestra?
I don't believe that I have, Jeff.
Sing some of that.
You'll love
it. I'm sure.
I'm not going to sing that
song. John, let me ask you: do you remember a particularly embarrassing moment on a podcast? For me,
well, there was that time when you had the gigantic wad of spinach in your mouth. No, that never happened. That never happened.
Oh, I have to.
Oh, you have it?
I have.
I knew I could trigger it. Go ahead. Go for it.
You did trigger it. You must remember. You must remember.
Okay. Tell the nice people what they've won.
So, back when we were launching the book, my hair was a little longer, and I used to use these Velcro rollers to get a lift on this little wave that doesn't really have a lift right now. Well, it's
big pink things, man.
Yeah, they're
like
actually
Twinkies.
red. They're like red,
like
but
red
they're like
Twinkies.
giant red Twinkies.
And you left one in?
And I started the podcast and I came onto the screen and I had this giant roller right up front. And as soon as I saw it, it was really funny. It was a man and a woman host. And as soon as they saw me and I saw me, I went, ripped it out of my hair. And at the same moment, the woman did the same thing. Her face was a mirror of mine. She went, because as a woman, she immediately had that like, oh my God. And it was just hysterical.
I was looking at it and I was thinking, it finally happened. Her brains blew up. I don't know.
we laughed for the first 5 minutes of the show because it was like, oh, and when you're married, you can wear your rollers. He's okay with it.
To podcasts, yes. It was pretty priceless. Her face, I wish we had recorded. I will never forget her face. It was.
Oh God, it was funny.
It was like Home Alone all over again.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I tell you guys, this is. You guys have done exactly what I hoped would happen here tonight, because the truth is our show, the group started to launch the book, but it's just kind of grown into its own thing. And now it's a group support. I think we're up to 1,600 members now. It keeps growing, even though the book's been launched for a few months. But the show itself is to let people see the real people behind the scenes and let them see the real Lisa and the real Jeff. And you guys are celebrities. You may not realize this, but you guys are total celebrities. And for the people that watch the
stop
show.
Stop it.
For the people that watch the show to get behind the scenes and see you guys laugh, you're just real people that are wonderful people. And I love that. So I want to thank you both for that. Lisa, do you want to say anything else?
No, thank you very much for coming on. We both really appreciate it.
I know we've gone over time. We told you guys 30 minutes and we've hijacked you for almost an hour. Counting
we are surviving just fine.
But so
we love you guys.
Check out gogivermarriage.com. Number one, if you don't have that book already, you need to get it. Check with Anna about her coaching things. Check with John on this mastery class. And
then there's fear, cold fear, and blind fear.
Yeah.
Blind fear coming up.
This couple has some stuff going on.
We'll put a bunch of the links in the group. The Facebook group that supports the show is facebook.com/group/said the lady with the blue hair. So you go there, you're going to find the Blue Hair Brigade, and I will start putting these posts so everybody can find your information.
And I have spared everyone the torture of me singing, well, I don't know what my uncle did, but he must have done it right. Because they sure strung him up one Saturday night. He had spent his whole life fussing. He had spent his last breath cussing till he realized the deal was really done. He started singing hallelujah, trying to make his peace with everyone. Okay, now, I don't sing well, and I keep telling Lisa I don't sing well. And John, you'll understand this. She says, you sing great. And I say, no. She says, why do you say that? I says, because I've been around people who really do sing well. And John's over there going, I understand what he's saying.
I think he's a great singer.
I'm with you, Lisa. Hey, I want to get that.
I'm in.
I want to buy that. I want to buy that track on my phone.
I was going to say, let's start a band.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, if y'all will hang on, we'll go back in the green room. Thank you, everyone. We love you guys, and we're so pleased.
Thank you.
Check out the stuff from the Manns. Please keep sharing your word about Said the Lady with Blue Hair. Your word of mouth is what's making the audience still grow. We're still selling books. It's getting traction, and so please keep doing that. Amazon reviews are growing. Every one of those means so much. And even if you don't have time to review, go rate the book. Just go on there, rate it. But if you have time to put a review, we'd love that.
Makes such a difference. It makes a difference.
Yes.
It does. So anyway, we love you guys. Thanks for being here. See you guys next Thursday.
Thank you. Love you.
Thank you.
Now, this is the part of the show where I keep staring, waiting on the clock to get us off of the